Game on! Let's go, baby! Let's go, baby!
And it was like peak COVID, like summer of COVID, like you weren't allowed to see your friends.
Yeah.
So like, but for some reason you could have a podcast, which was hilarious.
Yeah, we were deemed essential.
Yeah, because we're
That's
a news
awesome.
outlet. It's like we were a news outlet, so it's essential.
That's true.
So we would just get crushed though and start writing down ideas, and we had like this whiteboard of what we were going to talk about per show, and that whiteboard went out the window in like 3 minutes.
All it takes is like one conversation, right? And you're just like, fuck.
In it.
Yeah.
Like, we
Did you start to do it for something to talk about or something to do during COVID?
It was a reason to hang out. That was it.
Yeah.
So it was like a loophole type of thing?
So like, I remember it was like, the only reason I noticed it popped up on like, my Google's like, you have a fun picture today. And it was the day I went and met Juice.
Yeah.
And like my buddy's a real estate agent. And that's when I go check in on him, see how he's doing. Mostly because I wasn't working. I was just bored all day. So just going to talk to all my friends. And I went to his office. We just started talking the one day. And he's like, man, like I'm bored. I'm sitting at home all day. He's like, man, I've been telling you this for 10 years. Like, start a podcast. And I told him no, like every time. Like, not my thing. Like, I don't want to hear myself talking. Like, who's going to listen?
Yeah.
And it's like, just do it. No one listens. Who cares? Just see what happens.
Yeah.
Right.
So I remember like showing up at this guy's house and I was just like, hey man, I have this really dumb idea, but like, do you want to do it? He's like, what's that? I'm like, we should do a podcast. And he was like, oh, what? I was like, I don't know. Talk about football 24/7 anyways. Like, let's just record it and see what happens. And it was kind of like, he's like, well, do you know how to? I was like, nope.
Yeah.
No idea.
So what was the first thing you started, like, what were the first step? Did you do it yourself or did you find someone that knew?
So we literally called Liam,
Yeah.
one that you met when
Yeah.
we did our Rogers show. And we're like, hey man, we're both idiots. We used to make commercials for Adrenaline Paintball.
Yeah.
Do you think you could like do a show for us? And he was like, sure. And we all worked together at like a clothing store.
Yeah.
So then it was his excuse to get out too.
True.
So it just came to three of us getting wasted and deciding to film a sports show. And then it took like a couple weeks of him and I like trying to figure out what we were doing.
What would you guys do with out of a garage?
Out
or
of his
something?
basement.
Oh,
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah. Just like there's a little bar in my basement. So we just sit around there and just like, yeah. At first we tried to sit down and then you realize like neither one of us could sit down. We were too fidgety. So then we were standing up, but like you're standing up and you're like, what are we
This is
supposed
weird,
to do with our
yeah.
hands?
Yeah.
So like I started like holding a pen or something in my hand so like I could move my hands around and not look foolish.
Just hold a beer.
Well, that's what we do now.
That's
yeah.
what we do, yeah.
And then you posted it, or like, did you even post them to begin with, or like?
So for the first probably 2-3 weeks, we just kept putting out like, my thought was, well, we have to make an Instagram page so people know we're doing this.
Yeah.
So we kind of like just put out like, one was like, we just put out like a logo that we made for free on like clip art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we posted that, and then like, we just kind of like started sharing NFL news, like just resharing like whatever, and like football memes, like just stupid
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
So like, so people knew it was coming. And then like, remember the one day I was like, hey, heads up, our first episode is August 1st.
Yeah.
He was like, what? I was like, I don't know. I just said we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And it kind of gave us a deadline that we had to figure it out.
Did you get like, because when I think of like resharing football news and like memes and stuff like that, was there instant views with that kind of thing? Because there's obviously pages that just do that, and it's
Yeah.
like they'll get hundreds of thousands of views, like sometimes right off
Yeah.
the bat.
So like, we just like kept resharing like in our stories. Like that was it. And then like I put out like random football memes, and that was about it.
Did you pay attention to if they were getting views or anything
No,
like that, or you
not
didn't
at
even
all.
care?
Didn't give
Yeah.
two shits.
Yeah.
To
I
this
didn't
day,
even
I
have
don't.
Instagram at the time, so I had no social media at the time. So he's telling like, we need this, we need that. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have to walk me through this.
Yeah.
Like I had to show him how to make a story. Like he had no
That's-
idea. So yeah, like the beginning was like I just like crept all those pages, and I was sitting at home doing nothing because we couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything. So and it was like we decided like training camp for the NFL started the first week of August. So, like
That's a
that
good
made
start.
the most
Yeah.
point. Let's start
Perfect
then.
timing,
Like,
yeah.
free agency was happening, injuries were happening. So it gave us free topics to talk about.
Fantasy was starting.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of just threw darts at a board and kind of went from there. And for the first probably 5 months, it was just the two of us.
Oh yeah.
But we bring in guest people.
Yeah.
And by guests, I mean our friends. It wasn't that.
That's still at that point. It was still just like sports, like football related.
Only football. And like when we first started, we weren't even doing like shows. We were doing like clips. We were basically like practicing ourselves. Like it was our training camp too.
Yeah.
And it was, the very first thing that we did was we talked about Trevor. I don't know if you guys watch football, but like,
He does. I'm
Okay,
not
so
so much, but
we were talking about like Trevor Lawrence's like senior year and is he going to be the first overall pick and like sure thing kind of
That was that year, yeah.
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 So that would have been like 12 or 13 minutes. And like going back and rewatching it now, I think it's hilarious because like I said, like we don't know what to do. We're just basically talking, you know, if you should look at the camera, if you should look at, the person you're talking to. And we were completely cooked. But it's fun. Like Chad and I were like, it was Chad's idea and like Chad and I started together out like off of his idea. But like what he remembers and what I remember from starting is like two different things now. Cause I remember the birthplace of it being at Doghouse when we were sitting there and you brought it up to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, like we've already had like 3 pictures. Like, I don't see why not.
yeah.
But yeah, it's like funny how like memories can like, I'm not sure which one of us is right, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I remember going to see my buddy, him saying you should do this, and I remember bringing it up to Shane. Like I couldn't tell you where we did it. We could have been on a random hill with rainbows in the background. I don't know where we were.
It doesn't sound like our style, but maybe.
But like I just remember saying, I remember him saying like, "Do you know what you're doing?" And I was like, "No."
Did you have a schedule for like certain days you recorded, certain days you posted? Did you do more than one a week? Like, was it daily thing at that point because it was COVID and stuff?
That one, we were doing Friday nights.
Friday nights, I believe
we posted on like Sundays, I think.
Yeah.
Or
Mondays. It's always been Mondays. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So we would record Friday nights for the fact that if we got too cooked or it didn't work, we could redo it Saturday.
Yeah.
And then we sent it to Liam, our buddy, to edit it all and upload it for Monday night. And we always like Monday at like 7 whatever p.m.
Yeah.
We found out that you can't go right out on the clock. You're supposed to put it out at like 7:07 or like 7:14 because a lot of the news outlets use the exact hour. So you would get lost in the feed instantly.
Interesting.
That was the only thing I remember about like when you're supposed to schedule things. So I think like it was like 3:16. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Cold, yeah.
That's what it was, yeah. So it was Mondays at 3:16 is when the shows would go out.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a good time to remember too. 3:16,
Yeah, and then we were like, if we were at work or if we were like, we would all just go and like blast it into as many podcast groups as you can get to, or like blast it onto like your own Facebook to try and like get as much like
Viewership.
Rhythm. And
so like, when you say like podcast groups, like what's that?
If on Facebook you can literally search podcast groups and you can go share the link to your podcast.
Even on Reddit, they probably have subreddits.
Yeah.
I don't know how to use that one though.
Yeah, like I bet like, and we'll tell you about some of the interesting opportunities that we got from these groups because like they reach out and some of the people are serious and some of the people are like whatever, like sketchy. But, we ended up on like a US network and like a another one in Cincinnati for a bit. Or did the Cincinnati one not pan out?
Yeah, they kind of flaked off.
Yeah. But like people, like you share it in there and then you just open yourselves up to, whoever is a part of that group.
And people will repost it or republish it on their network or something like that.
Like, they would approach us and be like, hey, do you guys want to do a show for us? And, there was the ASAP group or like, it was someplace based out of Arizona. We actually were on their channel. We had they were on Fubu TV. So we were on their channel for a little while there. And then
they want to start paying to be on it. We're like, nah, we're out.
Yeah. There was something weird that happened there.
Interesting.
Like I remember doing a show with some like random guy from the stage you and I.
Yeah.
And it was like the Royal Rumble was on. That's all I remember. See, the kid was watching the Royal Rumble. So he'd be talking to us But you could hear him talking to somebody else about the match that was happening.
Yeah.
And that was virtual, like they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys were together, and then
No, he was at his house.
oh,
and I
so it was
at
like a
mine.
three-way
Call,
Zoom call
yeah.
or whatever it is.
Yeah, because like when we first started, we only did in person because it was like the like in between COVID, like it was just after 20, but like before the 2021 lockdown. So we were doing that at my house, and then when the other lockdown started coming through, we started just filming it at our own houses.
Mm-hmm.
We would just like, well, that we were live at that
Yeah,
point, so it was a little bit easier.
And I remember the one time, like we were at Joe Cool shooting a show for Turkey Bowl, like the
Sick.
Thanksgiving there.
Yeah.
So we went and shot the Monday before the Thanksgiving. And so like we posted a photo of us all being there, like doing the show, and like Mike Smith, the owner, was there. He took a photo with us, and like looking back, it's super comical. Like we're all masked up because we have to be. And we take a photo together, and like we got blasted online.
Yeah,
You're telling, and then people like started watching our show, and they're like, "So you're telling me the three of you all live in the same house together?" Like just ripping us apart, like calling us out for not being.
And you're
6
just
feet
laughing
apart.
because they're still watching,
Right.
Yeah.
basically.
That's it, right? Views of you.
Yeah.
Thanks for the clip.
Yeah.
Like,
Anyway,
every time you comment, that's like just giving us an extra boost.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I remember that, and like that's when like okay, like maybe we should actually go remote opposed to like we don't want to get like just blacklisted, right?
Yeah.
If we're causing this much issues in somebody's life, like forget it. Like let's just
Especially at that
remotely.
point, if you see or still maybe, but you kind of want to see a future for it, not just get instantly, blacklisted type of thing.
And we were like right around that time, we were starting to look at like sponsors and stuff like that too. So you don't want to like get yourself too divisive because you don't know who you have to align with. Like pretty much everyone ends up in the same viewpoint.
Yeah.
Behind closed doors, but publicly it's
another
a little
thing,
bit of a different story.
How long did you do remote for?
6 months probably.
Yeah, about that. I bet, yeah.
Still a long
Probably
time.
from like November of 20
Yeah.
to midway through 21. We were doing it like that. And then I remember they got to the point I was like, if this is what we're doing, like I'm out. Like the whole point is to hang out with your buddies.
Hang out with you.
Yeah.
And now it was a race to like talk on the show and shut your computer screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like you're not with them. So it's like, all right, well, see you later, bye. And it's like
Yeah.
it became not
A
personal
chore.
anymore, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of like the one reason why we decided to go back to person. It kind of like made us really like revamp our schedules, obviously, because
Yeah.
doing it in the comfort of your own home is really easy.
Right.
Getting 4 people together is another thing logistically sometimes, I imagine.
Well, that's like some people, like not us. The other guy that's not here, obviously, his schedule's a little bit tighter. Just ask him; he'll tell you. He would always be like, "Yo, you guys be in person, and I'll be remote." Like we tried that once, didn't work. Or it was like, if you can't make it, you can't make it. We still, we can do it with.
Yeah, like
To force it.
It got to the point where like, just teach us how to turn on the live stream. Like, give me a step-by-step procedure list. Because you can't do it remotely, then you get mad at us when we fuck it up. Right?
Yeah.
Which happened every single time. Anytime he wasn't there,
Something went bad.
we never went live at whatever time we were supposed to.
Was there ever did he ever want to get on with you guys, or he liked his role that he had behind?
He thinks the
scenes?
feds are watching him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not lying.
Yeah,
He is determined that the feds are watching.
He does not like to be on screen. He's a little bit of a conspiracy guy.
Really?
We were trying to get him to come today, and I wanted him to come for the simple fact that, like I said, Shane has his version of how we started. I have my version. I would love to hear his.
Yeah.
Because, like, he hated us at the beginning. Because we would get so blackout drunk.
Oh, okay.
And then we'd be emailing him saying, hey, something's here. And I remember the one time, I think we called him like 10 times. He didn't answer.
At midnight.
Yeah.
Blowing up his phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, hi, Liam. And he next day he's like, if you fuckers call me one more time ever at midnight, I'm done.
Yeah, but he was a good enough friend still
Yeah.
to be like,
Yeah, we're probably one of his best friends,
Yeah,
but he wanted to fucking murder us.
that's hilarious.
He hated us at the beginning because the power was actually all on him.
Yeah.
Because we had no idea technically what we're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
We just knew we could talk about football. Or we thought we could talk about football, I should say. But he had to do all the actual like editing, clipping, intros, and then putting it out to the world because we couldn't do that.
Yeah.
We still can't do that.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years. We
We
were
going to learn, like, no one ever did.
It's pretty easy. I mean, easier said than done. I'm sure that like even what he does is more intricate than what even I do for this one. But
Well, if you probably told me do this right now, I probably couldn't do it.
probably not. I mean, just it's fairly basic like editing and stuff. But even me, it's like just to get into Premiere and do it is just like so much shit going
I
on.
don't even know
in
what
there.
program we
Yeah,
use.
yeah.
So
Well, even for him, like, because I've been talking to him because we want to do one live. Like, even just with the playoffs, we're like, man, let's sit down and watch the game and do it live. And like, I'm sure it's real simple, but I'm like, Liam, like, I need help here. Like, you just something like that. You just got to be shown once, and then you can kind of figure it out after
once,
that.
I guess.
But
I was going to say, like, I know some tidbits. Like, we use Streamlabs, and there's a Stream Key.
Yeah.
So, like, where that Stream Key came from, I don't know.
same. He's like, make sure you get a stream key, and like, don't give it out. Blah blah blah. And I'm like. Where do I get and where do I put it? Like, I don't even know what the purpose of it is.
he had it set up so that we were supposed to just have to be able to hit record.
Yeah.
And we still fucked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because even earlier today, I have people that, one guy in particular that comes in and he kind of has a podcast. I don't know if he puts it out yet or anything, but he just wants to use the equipment and stuff. And his is just like audio. There's no video. And I don't even think he's like, I edit the audio for him and stuff. But again, knowing how to do it, it's really simple, but I just make it so he just comes and hits that green button when he starts and hits the red button when he's done. And then I give the rest to him. And it takes, granted, just the audio itself is very, very simple, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things shown once or 5 times and you slowly get it. But
Like Chad says, just give me step-by-step instructions.
Yeah, like step
Number
one.
one, turn it on.
100%. Like, that's what I want.
but that's why we started, and I started the way we did with like no real like expectations, because as soon as you get into stressing about losing sleep over, like if you had to go do it, edit it, post it, whatever, go through everything like post-production, it slowly loses its like enjoyment out of it all. So that's why I was like, let's just do the very basic. As I get better, we'll slowly increase the production of it. That way it's still fun the whole way down the line too, and not like, I don't want to do this because I don't want to spend, a day afterwards just losing my mind on the computer trying to edit it and get it out.
That's it. And like that, it goes the same thing for like content. And like, I know like we talked a few weeks ago, like you don't really have like a structure. You just roll with whatever you're doing. And when we first started, we basically did the opposite. Not that we tried to script everything down to the minute, but like we tried to say like, for the first 10 minutes, we're going to talk about this, and then move it through. Well, like the first time you get off the rails, then everyone starts getting stressed out because, we saved the best stuff for like the middle so people stick around and watch. But like then we don't even get around to talking about like Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs because we spent 20 minutes talking about.
And that's all the time you kind of had for that particular segment. We've tried that ever since we kind of got talking with you guys. We're like, I mean, to this day, even this one, like, we're like, okay, let's like, practice. Let's do like 25 minutes. Let's do like a little intro and, like, because we can always just once, like I've known from you guys coming on, kind of like, or sorry, me coming on your guys, it's like, okay, at 25 minutes, plan to like, and it's just practice, just so that like we have if something comes in the future, we have somewhat of a game plan. We have yet to do it because it's just like, I don't know why, honestly.
We always
like,
say we want to
okay, let's do it like
tonight, and then it's like we just start a combo.
Just throw a clock up
happens.
on your TV or something.
Countdown
Really, like when we're doing it at even when we're on site, like if we don't have somebody behind the camera, because that happens all the time, one of us will just have our phone on the table with like a clock, and then we just like if you watch the episode, you'll laugh now because you see we just keep touching it,
So
and then it locks, and then like we got to put it off our face.
That's what I was like. Okay, for me, I was like, let me start a 25-minute timer on my watch so that at 25 it buzzes, and at least I can kind of like no one else knows other than me vibrating on my wrist. But like. Yet here we are and haven't like I don't know,
25 minutes started.
Well, like our first few shows, like we said, like they're only like 13, 14 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we used to get sidetracked all the time. Like, excuse me, we have one where like we were dead in the middle of a real NFL conversation, and I don't know how it got brought up. We completely 180'd into favorite football movie and left the topic. The rest of the show was actually football movies and nothing about what happened in the NFL that week.
Yeah.
And it was one of our most watched episodes on YouTube.
Yeah. It's funny. Like stuff like that. We were just looking before you guys came, like some of the, and I was actually saying this also to one of my clients today. It's like some of the most nonchalant ones are the ones that people can like relate to the most or just like enjoy the most. So there's also that aspect where we don't want it to like defer from what people know it to be as far as just like a genuine real conversation.
That's it.
And because we're like from the very beginning, no, like we don't want it to sound scripted. Like I guess over time, in like over the last 6 months or so, you kind of like want to provide a better conversation, so you kind of do your due diligence before a little bit, but then you just have something that someone's done and you can talk about, but still yet to like have a question sheet and really go through it. But I see how that would. I mean, we
talked about like just introduction, the first 25 minutes, right? It's like that's the basics. We should just start with that. And then go from there, right?
Because ours goes generally so long, like like an hour is a short one, and then most are somewhere between an hour and 2 hours. But some of the like funnest ones of just like, oh, we don't have anyone, we'll go downstairs.
See who's like short.
You want to come upstairs, do a podcast, and those ones are the ones that get the most views and are the most like. Well,
and like the more organic, the better. And like when we kind of switched our format when we started to go live at Found, because we were really like, you see it on TV. You think like you're the pregame show for football. You think like you're the postgame highlight show, and like that's not us. Like we want to like degrade things and like tear them down to the bottom. But really, at the end of the day, people will tune in to watch three guys sit around a bar, drink beer, and talk about. Yeah, like football and like Chad said, like that guy got smacked so hard in the head. Like how many more concussions does he have? Like Billy Bob from Varsity Blues.
Yeah. Like those are the surface level conversations. No one cares about X's and O's. X's and O's are so boring.
Right. Yeah,
breaking down film, so boring. Could I do it all day long? Yes. Yeah. But do I want to watch someone talk about it? No, I don't actually.
Yeah.
Like if I'm watching something for my entertainment, I want to hear someone say, "Well, Patrick Mahomes finally sucked."
Yeah.
Like it's never happened before. Like the Chiefs lost for the first time ever in like 900 days.
Right.
This is a great day for football fans. Like we want to be that kind of level surface, right? And obviously like we all have our favorite teams, so like we kind of drift towards those things. But like we've had days where I had to tell him and Kalen to shut the fuck up. We just spent 45 minutes talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers and Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans have won 3 games this year. Like they shouldn't have that much airtime anyway. Like, can we talk about a team that matters?
Yeah.
But like it makes it organic because we still have teams that we root for.
Yeah.
So did you like? Was there any like anything big that came up before Rogers, like opportunity wise and stuff like that, or was that
sponsorships? Like when we first started out, we had a guy that came on to talk about gambling, and more or less like we stole his idea.
Yeah.
We definitely took his idea, but we ran with it. He didn't. That was the difference.
Shout out to that old unnamed soldier out there.
Yeah.
We can finally admit we took your idea.
Yeah. What was the idea?
So there's a company called Coolbet, and it was before gambling was, I guess, fully legal in Canada.
It was a little bit off the surface.
Yeah. But like,
what I'll tell you is our paychecks came from Malta.
wow.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, like he said, there's like this up and coming gambling site, like with everything getting legalized. Like I'm thinking about like reaching out to them. So like, well, fuck it, we're gonna reach out to them. If you could do it, why can't we? We have a platform, you don't. You just want to like give away free picks. So we ended up working with them for probably 2 years.
Yeah.
And it led to us getting really cool guests because they had professional athletes on their roster.
Yeah.
So that was like one of the coolest things. Like we had an Olympic curler on our show.
Yeah, like 2-time Chelsea Carey.
And then we had a couple of like professional lacrosse players come on through there.
So like, what was that though? Like, so you reached out to them, and it was like, what did?
Hey, Ian, do you like gambling?
Yeah, I love gambling.
Do you want to sign up for Cool Bet? I'm going to give you this really cool promo.
Sure.
So we were doing that before like every website in the world could do that.
Yeah.
So we got paid out from them for getting
Before
you to
you
sign
all
up.
even had like Bet365.
Yeah, all
those
those.
And
all
those
that
were
shit, yeah.
just your listeners, basically.
Listeners, people,
friend-
like you just reach
friends.
out, like you could give it to anybody, and if they sign up, you get the like a certain dollar figure back.
Yeah.
But then we did well right away. Like I think we started, must have been the NFL playoffs one year, and they were just like, "Yeah, you guys did great. Why don't we just start? Why don't we just like put you on retainer?" And we're like, "Okay, that sounds pretty good."
So we had our own special bet on their like website.
So,
Like you know when like you go on, you get like a boosted odds.
Yeah.
We had the Going for 2 Sunday boosted odds.
Cool.
oh, sick.
So like that was like one of the coolest things. Like we're 3 idiots,
Yeah.
literally 3 idiots, talking about football, and now like we're giving out gambling advice, and like we weren't even that good at gamblers.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
but it was working because we had to put out bets where the odds had to be minimum of blank, so they weren't to lose, right?
Right.
So we had to put out a bet, and it was like if the bet lost, we got paid.
Yeah.
But you got to find that happy median of like you still got to win sometimes,
Right.
or else people aren't going to play it. And we got paid off people playing that bet.
Yeah, and I mean that worked out for a long. And to be honest, like we probably would have just been paired with those guys until
To
the end
this
of
day.
time, but they ended up pulling out of Ontario when everybody came in because the thing was just too funny
Yeah.
for them. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, it led to more stuff. Like I don't know, do you guys watch Sportsnet? Like the podcast on Sportsnet or anything like that?
No.
I know.
All right, so a guy at the time, he was like the afternoon drive guy for Sportsnet Radio, but now he's got his own show on Sportsnet. JD Bunk, his podcast,
Okay.
and he used to come on all the time, and like we did some hilarious shows, and like he's probably not going to see this, so we can talk about it. But like we did a show with him. Was it Super Bowl Sunday?
He came on Super Bowl, and he like just checked in from his hotel.
Yeah, like there's like a girl behind him and shit. Like
No way.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It was amazing because like we one thing that we've done every Super Bowl, I guess with the exception of this one because we did that event at
Yeah, Kellogg's.
we've always done like a Super Bowl special, and one year it was 3 hours and it was live, and we had like
While the Super Bowl was playing.
No, before
like
we,
a pregame thing.
we
Yeah,
went
so-
from noon hour to 3 p.m.
yeah. So we had some like local musicians on from like kind of all over like London, Kitchener.
And we had like 8 or 9 guests come in.
Oh, cool.
It was pretty crazy. Like we were kind of stuck on our thing. Like we were drinking the whole time, so like we're on and off camera because you obviously got to take a piss if you're gonna be
Yeah,
drinking
yeah,
all
We
day.
were
and
drinking
that
for
kind
3
of
hours straight. Like I remember at one point being like, I don't think I can keep doing this.
It's like, yeah, 3 hours has been a lot. And then like the musical guests would come on and then we would just all rush to the washroom because like the screen is only on them.
Yeah.
But they could see that none of us watched them play.
yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, like that happened. We also we had a lot of like local support and like a lot of people around that wanted to like work with us. And, you know, like the Hot Sauce Co. was probably the first like local business that we paired with. And I mean, we did some like advertising for them, but we also would go to like festivals and markets if he wanted to get into a second one or if he couldn't get to it. And like we would actually sit at the booth and just work for him,
Oh, cool.
like sling the sauce. And, you know, it actually spun off into us getting our own brand of hot sauce for a while,
Cool.
which
That's
was
awesome.
And then like, we got to sell it, right? So it's just another income
Yeah.
source.
Yeah.
We just kind of hoard ourselves out
yeah.
Yeah, but that's like,
to the point where it's still enjoyable for us.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
it never and like,
We just joked about being carnies for a while.
yeah.
but like even to this day, like, it's 5 years in. It's obviously some days are tougher than otherwise. Like you don't want to do it, but like at the end of the day, like I'm drinking beer with my buddies.
Yeah.
Right.
So why not? That's the way I always look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like then like we've signed on with a bunch of different people and like monetized it, got into Rogers. Like that was really cool. That really was big for us locally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because we got to meet a lot of really cool people that way. But yeah, like, I don't know, for me, it was like, we're doing something that I never thought we would have done. Like, we had like NCAA players come on. I have now a colleague who coaches down in Florida because of our show.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's
yeah,
awesome.
cool.
Like, I literally like reached out to him on Instagram when he was playing at Jackson State. He played for Deion Sanders, like one of the like lone white guys at Jackson State. Part of his recruiting pitch was, have you ever slept with a black woman, by the way? And he's what as white as they come with a mullet.
So it's just an odd question coming
from Mississippi.
That's funny.
At what point did you guys realize it's like, man, this is actually sick? Like, it's working out. Things are like
when we kind of stopped
caring.
Yeah, that's it. Like, you just stop caring what people think. Like, stay true to like yourself, like what you think is good, and like what we might like. There was often times we'd get off and be like, "Fuck, that show sucked," but then there'd be the times where we were like, "That show was pretty sick." Like, I kind of wish that we would have kept going.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we cared what we thought, but we didn't care what anybody else thought.
Right.
And then it started to get fun, and then, like I said, like the sponsorship started to happen, and you know, like it's tough because like it's not our full-time gig, right? But like you want to be like true to your sponsors as much as you can. And like, you know, we had some like hiccups along the way. Like,
we definitely had some sponsors that flopped too, which was funny.
Yeah, we had sponsors that flopped on us.
We had like the Tebow version of Manscaped sponsor us.
Yeah.
Like,
it was a razor called
Smooth My Balls or something. No, not lying. Like, that's what it was.
And that's still all just like you guys talking about it, promoting it on the show. And
like they would reach out, just like, hey,
they would send us like little things to read on the thing about like
we have this really good ball trimmer. You guys look like men, so you want some? We're like, yes, we do.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
And at that point, is it like, is a lot of your stuff live? Was that like a big aspect of it, or not even at that point?
How long do you think we've been live? Like 3 years, maybe?
Probably, yeah. Like the first year, we definitely weren't.
Yeah.
So I guess we're 2025.
So you guys
2022-ish, probably. I'd say 3 years, maybe a little bit less, a little bit more, but about that.
So when you guys say like you recorded them on Fridays and then release them on Mondays, you'd be live on the Friday and then it would be released, or is that a totally different time and play on the timeline where that happened? Like
we would just record it on like a phone or something.
Yeah.
And like we wouldn't go live at all. So then we got I think like, I don't know if Liam went away or like something happened where we were like, why are we spending all this time like hand breaking videos to like then go ahead and post them through? Like if we just go live every time,
it's there.
There'll be a delay, but it'll go on there automatically. And like that's when we got into the Streamlab stuff.
It was definitely a beginning of a football season.
Sounds right, yeah.
Because before we would shoot on Fridays at the very beginning. Then the NFL season started, and then we switched to Mondays so that we could recap the weekend. And then we put it out on Wednesday because Thursday the new week started in the NFL.
Right.
So maybe it was like the second year of the NFL, maybe then?
It could have been. And like there was a point where we were doing like 2 or 3 episodes a week.
Yeah.
Like we were doing Mondays and Thursdays. And then when we signed on with those guys in the US, I think we were on Fridays or Saturdays.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like
a lot.
It got to be, and like that's one of those things where you're like, do I like it this much to do it this much?
And
like,
was there ever a point where you guys contemplated, like, not that you weren't all in, but like going all in to make it a full-time thing, or like, no?
Like, I guess it depends who you asked.
Yeah.
Like at certain times, I can honestly say yes. I was like, I want to make this. But we have 4 guys on our team. Mm-hmm. How do you ask 4 guys to quit their jobs?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Like everybody has kids, everybody has families.
I guess more so than had you had 4 guys that were like, we're all in. You think it was feasible / doable, achievable to do that? The answer I'm sure would be yes, because if you wouldn't, like, you know, you believe in yourself.
We always joked, like, could you imagine if like we got paid to do this, right? Like, and I remember like you and I had this conversation. Yeah. What's the magic number that we would need to make this a full-time job?
Yeah.
And so like those conversations did happen. And at one point, I'd probably say around year 2 going to 3, I was like, we're so close. Like we can make this happen. But at the same time, it's like, who's going to give us X amount to make this happen?
And not to mention, if you're don't have 4 guys that have that mentality to just like, some people just aren't programmed like that.
And like, exactly, that's more or less what I was going to say is like, I know what I can give. I know what Shane can give. I know what Kalen can give. I know what Liam can give. But can we all give that if like, when food depends on the table?
Yeah, totally.
I guess that's what it comes down to, right? Like, if we got to feed our families, what are we willing to put into this?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like, it's tough. Like,
yeah.
How many guys are having talk in their basement now? Mm-hmm. Everybody. We met numerous people doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like, we had one guy, was he Boston? That one cop?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy he was next level.
Yeah.
And like, we went on his show a couple times. I was on his show a couple times. He came on ours once or twice. And like, this guy was a cop in Boston. He would go do his shift and come home and talk for like 2 hours and go all in on it.
Wow.
Do you think that there's more? Do you think the opportunities are bigger if you ventured outside of like football only or sports only?
100%.
And I asked that because like, at what point did you some of your stuff now, even me, right? Like having me on there and stuff. Like, at what point did you like step out of like sports related specifically and like start? Was that a conscious decision to do, or was it something that happened naturally?
Like when we were doing multiple shows a week, we were like, well, let's talk about hockey.
Yeah.
It was great I don't watch hockey. Mm-hmm. They'd ask me a question, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like straight up, like, and like it was peak COVID too. Like that's when the second shutdown happened. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch a hockey game a night, just one.
Yeah.
So I could talk. Man, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I just get too stoned and fall asleep.
Yeah.
Like I would like throw a bet down on Cool Bet because that's who was paying us at the time, and I would get stoned as fuck
and just say, I'll find out who wins in the morning.
And like the amount of times I woke up on my couch with your stream has now ended and playing in the background on NHL TV, and I was like, well, this was just a waste of money.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because the other day we're watching hockey and I was sitting right there and these guys are literally explaining to me the rules of the game because I was like, man, I have no idea, man. Just explain to me like what's going on.
What's
here.
an offside?
What's an offside?
He's like, when's the fourth quarter?
The crazy part is I played hockey my whole life.
Yeah.
Like I was actually a better hockey player than I was a football player, and now I'm coaching the Canadian national football team.
Yeah.
But I haven't watched a hockey game since I was 18 years old.
Yeah.
So I understand it, I just don't watch it.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, getting back, like at what point was it something that happened consciously, or did it just evolve into, or do you still not really, are the kind of non-sports related talks more far and few between?
Yeah, I mean, like the non-sports related stuff is really, I mean, the deepest we probably get out is like what we talked about.
Yeah.
You know, once we got on to Rogers, like the initial Rogers plan, because we started, I think, in like September of whatever year it was. We were like, no one's covering London high school football. There's so much London high school football content. So like we dove into that. And like that was still like home base for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're talking local football instead of NFL, but like it's still good. And then the season ends and we're like,
now what?
Shit, what are we gonna do now?
Yeah.
And then we started to find like some interesting people, you know. I don't know if you guys ever been to like Throw, like the axe throwing place.
I haven't, but I know what you're talking about.
So we went down there. The guy that owns it, I actually was in a charity boxing thing with his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So she kind of set it up. She's like, yeah, I think this would be cool. So we went down there. You know, we did an episode about like throwing weapons against the boards.
Mm-hmm.
And then we left. He was a sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he liked it. He believed in it. But like, you know, we tried to find ways to make everybody feel like an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Like if throwing an axe is the closest, or dart is the closest you're going to get to playing a sport. Like, not saying it's not a sport. I'm not demeaning anybody, but like anybody can be an athlete as long as you're focusing on doing what you're supposed to be doing and like giving 100% to it. And then that's where it kind of spiraled into a lot of, boxing obviously matters, but like, we did some like bodybuilding stuff with some of the girls at Boss Fitness, and we came here and chatted with you about the gym. And like, I think that's really more of what it's been, is like a spotlight on what local athletes could be doing, not necessarily, or like, and what's
Health
building
and fitness
them.
and stuff. Yeah.
Less about like the sports.
And then like on a personal level, do you enjoy that? Like, you do like,
it's my favorite part of the show now.
Different conversations and just like talking football. Like that's what I really like about us is like, and again, what I said to you guys on yours is like the pool of people just at our fingertips is so cool. Like we had, the neuroanesthesiologist who was like, next time I come, I'm going to bring my like
VR
the equipment that he has to train his students. And you guys can do like a brain surgery or like a, anesthesia watching the thing. And the next it'll be, someone else that just like a quote unquote normal person with a crazy life experience. And if that's, you do enjoy that and like getting that different like perspective from people.
Yeah, like I think that stuff it's cool, man. Like you get out there, you get to meet a whole bunch of people that not that you would have, like if I walked up to you on the street, it's not like you'd be like, get out of my face.
No, but you're not gonna have that in-depth
like,
conversation.
Like give us a couple microphones and then we're gonna chat for a couple hours. But like that's the thing. Like you meet so many interesting people and get like a whole variety of stories, and you really find out that like London, the city, is like a big small town.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think we've ever interviewed somebody where they were like, hey, I think I know you from somewhere. Like I've seen you here. Or like, so like that kind of stuff is cool. But yeah, you can really branch out and get like pretty far branched out. We never really got into like much outside of anything like that, but there's definitely an appetite for it.
And it's still predominantly football.
That's home base.
That's home base.
I would also like that's where we feel the safest. That's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah.
We know a lot of coaches in London, so if we ever need a show on the spot, we could probably get one. The one thing is like kind of touching on what Shane said was we always did football, and so we did the Rogers deal. We had to find content to keep going, and I remember we actually left it because it was one of the things like it was extra work all over again. It's like we were doing our own show, and we like would shoot a Rogers show, and also like. Now our night went from being like an hour and a half to like 3 hours. And it got to that point where we don't want to do it no more.
Yeah.
But then also we didn't do it and we're like, we actually missed these conversations. Now it's like the NFL show's like on the back burner, I almost feel like.
Yeah.
Now we just do it because we're supposed to. But the Rogers show and like the conversations locally are what actually are making it enjoyable.
Yeah.
We didn't like it, we thought because of Rogers, when really it was we liked the Rogers and not the NFL.
Yeah.
There was just one of them had to go, and we made the wrong decision initially. But I mean, like the Rogers thing it's been good for us, and like I think that it'd be good for anybody if they want to get involved in that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think so too. I think it's just like. Again, it's going back to like not really caring what we're not trying to like cater to someone to create. Like, I mean, in some aspects, you want to create a show that someone else wants as far as like someone like a network or whatever. But you also don't want like you're not trying to like, fill a job description per se. Like if someone's not interested in what we're doing, at least 75% of it, then that's fine. Like you don't want to lose that like enjoyment you have out of it. But it's one of those things that.
But naturally, you'll get followers. You'll get people who want to tune in. Who enjoy the show, who enjoy the talks, the conversations, or whatever. Right. So it's like I believe that down the road it will just be natural. Regardless, people are gonna either say yay or nay. They're either gonna tune in or not.
I think the coolest thing is like. With being on the Rogers TV is that like we get random messages who are like, well, send us a picture out of a sports bar and like you pop up on TV and we get like, hey, I just saw you, and it's like you kind of like a sense of like approval almost, sense of accomplishment. Like sometimes people we don't know, someone who just follows us,
It's one of the things. A lot of these questions I have are coming from like this business mind, like an inside like perspective, and I keep thinking of it as like, what did you guys base your like metrics on without really caring about metrics
Yeah.
maybe, but like what indicated to you guys that like, oh, this is something? Was it like if you guys started going live, was it like live viewership, or like you didn't even care at all and
We
it just
paid-
happened naturally?
Yeah, like we paid a little bit of attention to that, but like the first thing that kind of, well, like for me, that like triggered us, that we were like, okay, like people are actually paying attention, is we started making merch for ourselves, and then people were starting to ask for it. So
Oh,
then we
yeah.
started to like print it, and then like we went and made like a pretty decent sized order. And I mean, you don't sell all of it, but like we sold enough of it right away. Like we had enough of it like pre-sold where it was just like,
Cool.
wow, like enough people want to wear this. Like that's pretty sweet. And
Yeah.
then
Like we had people who would buy our hats, and like we all wear hats, so we didn't buy cheap hats.
Yeah.
We weren't buying $5 Temu hats. We were buying. I think our cost was like $35 on them.
yeah, like
We
we
were
were selling.
making-
Yeah, we were just breaking even on hats.
I think we were selling for $35, or they were $30, or we were selling for $35. We were making $5 a hat, and we'd sell out of them. Like, who's wearing a hat that just says "going for 2"? There's right now. There's 200 of them out there in London.
People that support.
that
Yeah,
bought them.
yeah,
and
yeah.
guys who have bought multiples because they wore their first ones out.
Yeah.
It'd be
We were
like,
shipping them out to like BC.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
Yeah,
a good
different
like,
spots, man.
because that's just stuff that like we naturally just overlook. You think
Yeah.
like, but
Have-
for the same reason I'm wearing my brother-in-law, like, you know, it's
Yeah.
like
Right.
people just want to support.
When we did it, like we ran a contest. I don't remember what we gave away. I just remember the contest. Like people were to post around London wearing the thing, and like then that's where like people, like a guy in BC was like out on a mountain, like post is wearing the hat, and like
Yeah, that's cool.
one guy had one with a girl. Like, asked
I'm
me
pretty
to
sure we
give it
just
to him.
gave him the prize, right?
yeah.
yeah.
It was a girl like wearing her hat, like his hat backwards, and she's like leaving his room.
I win.
Yeah, I was like, well, that guy's winning for sure.
yeah.
Next thing you know, you got like 100 of those
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
pictures. It's just all like,
But yeah, it was just. I forgot it with the merch part. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, I think we only had like quadruple XLs and like extra smalls left,
yeah.
and then we did a special shirt where we used like, remember the NWO?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And thank you so much.
Yeah.
We did our logo, but in the NWO
cool,
style.
Yeah.
And there's a guy at T-shirt Time, because like it's copyright, obviously you can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He tweaked it literally just enough
So it's not copyright.
so it's not copyright. And like he took pride in making our shirts, and he was charging us pennies on the dollar to make them.
Yeah.
Have you seen guys wearing around your merch in London?
I have a photo of a guy getting arrested in our shirt.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
wow.
yeah.
That's
It's elite.
Yeah.
It is
awesome.
elite.
But like stuff like that, you can't plan. It just happens.
Exactly.
Like,
I can't, like, my buddy's a cop and he sent it to me. I won't say his name, obviously. He's like, don't ever share this. But he's like, you made it.
that's really cool.
That's crazy that your buddy like
Yeah.
did,
Yeah.
got
I'll
the arrest
show it to you
yeah.
guys off air. I got to find it.
That's
But yeah.
awesome.
But he's like, this can't get posted because, like,
Right.
Obviously.
but he's
it's
like,
just-
Yeah.
just know what you made it. And I was like, what? Because the picture hadn't came in yet. And then it
Yeah.
popped up a minute later. I'm like, I made
it.
screenshot, literally instantly sent it to my wife. And look at this. And she was like, that's fucking
quit
amazing.
your job. We're rich.
Yeah, like, there is a drug dealer wearing my shirt right now.
Yeah.
He could buy any shirt he wanted. He chose this
Chose
one.
this
That's
one.
it.
I really like that idea.
He took his time to place the order to get that shirt.
Yeah.
At one point.
I
yeah.
do. I gotta remember that because I really do like. That's a good. Take something that's already known.
Yeah.
Like you see super like popular brands or people doing it now, and it's just like whatever the Marlboro logo, but your logo instead, or whatever it is, right? Like,
Well, we had like little tweaks to it. Like basically, like if we knew who like someone was a fan of for football, we would get the hat made in their colors. So like there's Minnesota Vikings colors out there, Steelers, Ravens, whatever. So we would do those, and like we would just print them, thinking like we know someone that's gonna want this. So like we just get it, and then like we never ended up with extra hats.
and you just basically talk about it on your show, and
We would just wear them.
We just
Yeah.
wear them, or we
Like
just put a
sometimes we
social
just like throw them on the bar, and like like it would just be sitting on the bar while the thing's on. People would be like, "Yo, how much for that?" I'm like,
yeah.
and like we literally would just like put it. Hey, hats now in. and they'd be gone within 2 days. We just place orders of like, I don't know, 10
Whatever
at a
you,
time.
yeah.
Yeah. You can usually get set up pretty good at lids or like a place like Vistaprint or like something like that.
Yeah, I mean, those connections for me are super easy because I have, I've spent 10 years from the gym, like going to those places and then building the relationships and cutting out the middleman. And now it's like, I have someone for everything that, gets it at. So that logistically is super easy to do from my standpoint, I think. But I mean, we've even said that before. It's just
for you, like have a couple shirts laying around your gym and make people when they're you guys post tons of pictures.
Yeah.
Like get some stuff with cut off sleeves and the boys will love it.
Yeah, totally.
No,
or even just like wearing them yourself, and then people will
that's what it is.
asking, right?
People. I know that from the gym. People just want to support. I have a shirt on that I made. I mean, this one here. I can't make this up. I had this shirt as a golf tournament that we did last year, and people are like, "Where can I get it?" Even if they don't even ever wear it, they probably will. But even if it's just like, just to support and be a part of something that they enjoy watching is organic.
That's it. Yeah. Like that's what gets you to where like you want to be. And like, those are the small wins. And like, if you focus on the metrics, the numbers part of it, I mean, look, like, I'm not saying this, like the numbers don't matter. The numbers don't matter while you're building. And like, really the first 5, 6, 7 years, like, you're either going to strike gold immediately or you just have to like continue to like hit the axe.
That's what like, and I don't ask that from a standpoint of like, what do I go look at? We could care less.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
So I have a photo of it somewhere.
Yeah.
And we sold these for
NWO.
for charity.
Yeah.
So I think we did it for Child Can as one of our first sponsor. We did a sponsorship with them, and so we made T-shirts, and we actually, it was 100% proceeds of that one went to Child Can.
Yeah.
And we sold out of them in no time.
Yeah. And like, we were pretty good with charitable work, at least in the first few years. Like the Polar Bear Dip, that's Child Can. And then we actually tried to host a golf tournament for men's mental health awareness. But then like the 50th lockdown or whatever happened. So like we could basically only have like so we did like a 8-person like skins game. It was pretty fun though.
Yeah, like
like each of us put
in 10 days
like,
we raised $3,000.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome, man.
we drank $3,000 worth of booze.
I won't tell the story.
Yeah.
We'll leave that one for
Off air.
I might have went to the wrong restaurant.
So after we're all like, let's go just grab something to eat at Chuck's. Like, this guy drives to Chuck's in Grand Bend.
Yeah. We were playing like Port Franks or everywhere.
Yeah.
So I just typed in Chuck's. And like it took me to the left instead of right.
Yeah,
I was like,
"Where's everybody?"
Yeah, literally, I was like,
Chuck's in South London.
An hour away.
Yeah,
oopsies. But yeah, like we just started doing all this, like not all charitable stuff, but like what can we do to like use our platform for good? That was like the biggest thing. Yeah, that golf tournament turned out phenomenal.
Yeah.
And we made content with it. Cool Bet once again stepped up, and like I think they
got a bunch of balls printed and like tees. And,
Sick.
That's cool. We do one, like I do, me and my brother-in-law who owns Pizza Project, a year. This will be the 3rd year. So 2 years ago now, we were like, yo, you get 8 guys, I'll get 8 guys, and we'll just go like scramble match. And next year we added 4 more guys each team. And this year we're adding another 2 guys. And it's like one of the, like,
it's awesome.
You ask anyone and they're booking that time off a year in advance to do it. So, I mean, another side note is like we should just incorporate this and that somehow too, because everyone comes back here after, and like it's one of the best times of the summer.
Yeah.
And
that's
just
the shirt. That's our team.
This
shirt
is what this was our jersey last
jersey,
year.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot. I mean, that's the cool thing is like there's so many when you don't have obligations from a profession standpoint. There's so many like probably avenues to like have fun with it.
That's it. Like just try something and know that like if it doesn't work, like who cares?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like when we started, you know, standing at the side of the bar, not knowing what to do with our hands, like we would have never thought that like 5 years later we'd be here. And it's not like we're here because we made it. It's like we're here because we slugged it out.
Yeah,
and
just
like,
kept going.
Went through the experiences, got to meet like a lot of cool people, and like we made lots of strong partnerships. We had partnerships fall through, and like we own our part in that. Like we weren't
Always the best partners.
we weren't always the best partner, and like I actually like won't use names, but like I ran into somebody that was one of our partners, but like I didn't know that we weren't like cool until he said something, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, he's right, man. Like we weren't that good.
Kind of dropped.
I'm
the
sorry,
ball.
man. Like,
I mean, that's like, if again, there's a part of it that's like if you were overly concerned about being the like it, you kind of lose its. Obviously, you want to provide what like your side of the deal is and stuff, but.
I guess the thing was like we thought we did enough, but what they thought they were saying was different, and like that's communication on both sides.
It's bound to happen.
And right, like, was he wrong? No, actually, he wasn't. Did we think we're doing enough? Yes, but like I also respect that person's side of it. But I kind of like what Shane said, like where we started not knowing what we're doing, and now 5 years in, I'm sitting on somebody else's show talking about our story. Is like, fuck, like.
Yeah.
It's a cool story, man.
We kind of did make it, right?
Is
Like,
a cool story,
and I always like we had this conversation when I first met you. We were talking kind of how we met was like about the show, but then I did football, and it kind of went that way, which is kind of cool. It worked out that way. But one of the first things I told you is when you asked me, like, how'd you get to 5 years? I said, we're just too dumb to quit.
Yeah.
Like, that is a secret. Like, I always tell people, like, and JD, the guy that we had on our show from Sportsnet, when he was on in the first year, he's like, just so you guys know, you guys are 7 to 8 years ahead of where you should be right now. We're like, what?
Cool. Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Like, we think we're fucking failures half the time. And this guy's on Sportsnet, on TV, at the Super Bowl saying, you guys are way further along than what I was.
Well, like, he got his start. He jumped into, like, the producing thing, and, like, you're going to run and fetch somebody's coffee. So, like, you go your own way, and, like, obviously he made his thing happen, but, like, we would just never be those people.
Yeah,
like,
totally. That's like, you don't come out of school wanting to be a whatever sports broadcaster or a TV show host or something like that, right?
That's right. Like this kind of just I don't know, dropped in our lap, but like it takes work obviously, but it drops in your lap. There is what it is, and like like the Rogers thing, I wouldn't say dropped in our lap. And I talked to the guy that helped us along. He asked me not to use his name, so I won't use his name, but like. It was really a conversation that I had with somebody in a work setting that led to him asking like a few questions to me. Him talking to his buddy, who happened to be the guy that decides all the shows that go on Rogers. They reach out.
Crazy story.
Like, hey, would you be interested in just coming in to chat? And like at this point, I'm reading my email. I'm like, I'm not going to tell the other guy. So like, Chad had no idea, Kalen had no idea, Liam had no idea, and I just put together like a little presentation. He's like, yeah, come down to the Rogers building over on York. And I'm like, okay. So I go in, and like some lady answers the door, and she's like, yeah, Jeremy's just over there. Like
his name.
No, Jeremy's the producer. He's okay.
The
guy that
I was like, you just said you weren't going to say his name.
the guy that
You're waiting.
I was like, he's going to fuck this up so bad.
No, the guy that put us in touch with Jeremy would rather me not use his name. So I walk up, and he's sitting at like a boardroom watching our Super Bowl show on the thing, and he pauses it as I come in. And I'm like, I take the thumb drive and I just like put it in my pocket. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna need this. So we sit down, and he's like, like tell me how you guys got started, whatever. So I just like shoot the shit, and he's like, all right, so what does it take to get you guys on the on the channel? I'm like, oh, I thought we were gonna have to
sell you,
work on this. Yeah. Like as a sales guy, like I'm sitting here thinking like, I don't know, like I mean I got to talk to the other guys, but like. It feels pretty good. And he's like, all right, like, what do you think is a good thing? I'm like, football? He's like, oh, yeah. Like, local football? And he's like, yeah, no one's doing that. Cool. All right. Well,
you're on.
Yeah. So, like, Like shake hands with him, whatever, get out of there, and like I jump back in my truck. I'm like, fuck, did that really just happen?
Were you just all fired up? Like,
Yeah, so I called Chad. I'm like, yo,
I was on a family vacation.
like,
I was up at like Great Wolf Lodge.
yeah.
And like, of course, I don't answer my phone because why would you? Because not important. So he texted me. He's like, "Yo, call me back." So I do, and he's like, "So, starting up your vacation, but like, I kind of got cool news." And I was like, "What's up?" He's like, "They want us on TV." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Rogers." My first thought was Rogers Sportsnet. I'm like, fuck this, I'm quitting my job. I'm thinking of that scene from like Empire, like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, you're cool. I'm so glad I didn't do that.
I'm extending.
Imagine. Just sending voicemails threatening everybody. No, glad I didn't do that.
book the honeymoon suite at Goodwill Lodge.
Let's upgrade this shit.
Yeah.
You're getting 2 bunk beds tonight. But yeah, no, and I was like, I remember like him telling me, and I'm like, holy shit, like, we made it. Like, obviously not like lifestyle made it, but like from where we started, like people are watching us, right? Because when you're doing it on like online, like it tells you how many people are watching, and some days we're in the hundreds, some days there's 2.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things like, you know, you just can't ever change your energy or whatever it is. But it's like, holy shit, like people are watching us and they want us on TV. So I remember like going back to tell my wife, and she was like, what? And I was like, that was my thought.
Same.
And then like, you know, we're trying to figure out like, all right, how does this vibe work? We're like, we've all seen Wayne's World. Like, I think we can make this work. Like this Wayne's World thing, like, you know, you're on local public access TV. Like, we're cool with that.
And then like they're like, all right, so no swearing, no drinking, no gambling. And I was like, we're fucked.
We thought we had the workaround. So like now we can talk to our sponsors and be like, hey guys, guess what? Like you'll have like visibility on local TV. So like the local sponsors are awesome with it. You know, like a local farmer that we had was like, yeah, here's my logo. We put it on there. Well, he's a weed farmer, and apparently they're not cool with that. So like, first episode, they're like,
can't do that.
You guys can't do that.
So we call him up and like, hey man, like, I mean, he's like, well, he was cool. He's like, no man, keep the money. He's like, I'm happy you guys are doing this. I was like, well, fuck, that worked out really well.
Yeah.
Then he was like, call my other buddy. He's like, and then just use his business, but I'll pay for it.
Yeah.
So I called the guy. He's like, no, we don't need more business right now. I'm like, no, it's free. He's like, no, I can't take any more business. I don't need advertising. I was like, well, that must be fucking nice.
Yeah, seriously.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, right.
I've never once heard a local business say, no, I don't want free advertising because I'm already too busy.
Yeah.
That was a dog grooming place. I want to put that out there. It wasn't like it was a place with special capacity.
Yeah.
He was that busy as a dog groomer. He did not need any more business.
That's pretty wild. Yeah.
Yeah. So like we did the full season, and like, you know, we talk about like our live show has gone like probably over 200 episodes. And then you think like, yeah, like, you know, that's a big number. But like we've done probably 60 episodes for Rogers. So like we ripped through the first season, and then this is when we were having the conversation of like, actually, yeah, we'll tell the story. Who gives a fuck? So we got paired up with this like local wrestling organization because they were also on the same channel.
Are you an amateur pro wrestler before we go any further?
No.
Okay, then we go further.
That's okay. Yeah.
He could be one, actually.
I know I didn't look at you. I was like, all right, you have that look that you might go off the top rope.
Yeah. This is one of those things that like, yeah, this might be offensive to some, but like, you got your warning.
Yeah, whatever.
So we like get in contact, and I'm going to meet this guy for a beer, and I'm like, Chad, I don't know this dude. Like, you want to come to this meeting? He's like, I got a recruiting meeting like at Chuck's. Because like, you know, Chuck's is our spot apparently. I'm like, cool. I'm meeting the dude at Chuck's too. So like, we get there.
Which Chuck's? Graham Ben Chuck's?
So,
Yeah.
the one I was supposed to go to.
We were at
our headquarters. I just went to the other one the first time.
Yeah. So like, we're just like, you know, whatever, shooting the shit. He starts running me through his like business model, and like, you know, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not making fun of like his business model. Like they're trying to recreate like 80s pro wrestling, like whatever. Like Like if there's people to do it, there's people to do it. So like,
So sorry to interrupt. You got
Yeah.
you guys kind of got paired together via Rogers or something happened
Yeah.
organically.
Yeah.
Rogers like, can you guys work together?
yeah, because
okay.
like they were on like Saturday nights and we were on Thursdays, and like it was 2 original shows. that were kinda,
yeah.
like,
Okay,
going
so
through.
yeah,
like,
go ahead.
so like we're talking to him and we're like, okay, like, you know, do you want to come on our show? And then like, you know, like just, you know, we'll talk about your wrestling stuff and whatever. So he's like, yeah, for sure. So did he come on by himself the first time?
Yeah, and it was uncomfortable.
Okay, so yeah. So like
Because of how corny it is in general,
well like
or like just him
Not-
as an individual.
All
Yeah.
the above.
yeah.
yeah, I
Like
feel
A,
like
B, C, and D.
Weirdo.
I feel like he's probably good at putting the storyline together. He's just not good at telling the story. So
Yeah.
so that was like a tough episode, but he reached back out and was like, hey, my champion is coming in and they're fighting each other. Could we do another episode all together? So like we faked like this like fake ass fight in my bar in my basement to like hype up one of their main events.
But, like, me and him are laughing.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't look serious at all.
yeah, like those guys are all like serious game face. Like the one guy's yelling into my basement, like my kids are sleeping.
He was
They're
like,
both throw chairs.
yeah. Like
he's Value Village Rock. Like,
yeah. Yeah. So whatever. He's like, hey man, like I'm gonna reserve some seats for you guys to come. So we're like, yeah, we'll be there. No doubt.
smashed.
Yeah. So we go there the first time, like they basically like, and this is like so terrible, but like they put us like in reserve seating. It's got like fucking duct tape or something over it that says like for going for 2. And then like behind us are all the wheelchair people. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
You guys want to scoot ahead of us here?
you know what I mean? Like, couldn't you have like flipped that around? But like, I don't know. Anyway, like through all that, like somehow we do another episode with these guys.
This is the third one.
Yeah.
And we're
And-
doing like the backstage interviews of the wrestlers.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That'd be
so-
like- are you guys going into it like this is going to be entertainment for us, or you're like, fuck this?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like interviewing like fans, like there was a lady in the crowd that changed her shirt before every match because she had a
Sure, for
favorite-
every
she had a
wrestler.
favorite shirt for every match that she was, or a favorite wrestler for every match she was gonna be there for, and like people taking it like way too seriously, but like good for you, like
Yeah.
fuck it, like I'm not gonna
Whatever
judge what you're
floats
into.
your boat.
Yeah, do
People
do
are
you.
hardcore.
So yeah, we end up in the back, like now we're smashed, like talking to these people.
It's like that's the Rock. That's
Yeah.
the version of the Rock.
Oh my god.
yeah,
Your village rock.
And you're
Yeah.
just like, what is wrong with
yeah. So
That was on TV. I was in a bar one night. So I took a picture and sent it to him.
yeah. So I start trying to like feud with this guy, and then like he's like yelling at me, and I'm like laughing in his face like he's a fucking idiot. But anyway, so like that episode was fine. But for some reason they invited us back for a second time, and like this is where we got pissed off at Rogers, because we went and like Chad and I don't go to any sporting event, whether it's pro wrestling or football, without having a couple beers in the parking lot. You know, so we're drinking beers in my truck, whatever. And a fucking Rogers truck rolls up and like rolls behind the back. And we're like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on here? Like, we're a way better show than these guys.
And they got full production.
Yeah.
Everything.
So like we're there and we're in the back. They're strapping us up with like monitors, and they have like real legit fucking
They just show up
microphones.
to you guys and be like, "Here's this."
Oh, yeah,
here's
this
that."
is-
But because you're going to be there,
Well,
you
they
didn't
showed
bring-
up for them.
Yeah,
Their
yeah, that's what I
event,
mean.
we were
yeah.
there, and they're telling us how we're supposed to interview. We're getting like things in our ear of what to say and instruction. And we're like, "Fuck you all!"
Yeah,
like
so-
people watch our show. No one watches this shit.
yeah. At that point, you're like, yo, I'm
Yo,
getting
what's
pay
going on
me.
here?
Yeah.
Like,
That's it. And that's when we got pissed, and like Chad and I left that thing and we were like,
We definitely big time them. Like
yeah, we were just like,
those our interviews became like blatantly clear. We're like, "Fuck you all" in this
yeah.
interview.
I could see how that
with like
could
a
be
wrestler,
like
with some
sour.
like wrestler who no one's watching has no idea that I'm mad at him. He doesn't know why.
yeah.
yeah.
So we leave that, and Chad and I think we drove there together. Or we went out for a beer after or something, whatever the case was. And we were like, so fuck Rogers, right? And then like, yeah, we never had another Rogers. Like we didn't have another Rogers episode. And then we went and like did some of our shit in the summer, and like that's right around probably when we got hooked on with Kellogg's.
Yeah, Kellogg's.
Yeah, and like Kellogg, like the Kellogg's thing has been big for us. Like beyond the fact that like it's probably the coolest place in London.
Yeah, for sure.
Like financially, it's been it's
Worth
they
it.
they take pretty good care of us,
Mm-hmm.
and like the exposure again, like meeting more people, and it opens us up to we could go to the clubhouse and just bring out 3 or 4 guests and just like rip through episodes like right there, and like you got like the raw atmosphere. You can just like set up in a simulator,
And they're like just basically host your show here.
Yeah, they fucking
do
love
your
it,
like yeah.
They were all about it. So at that point we were like in a pretty good spot. So we were just like fuck this, like we don't need the Roger stuff anymore. So we were doing every single Monday night football game at Clubhouse, doing like a show before, like a pregame show, like a hype up show, and then giving out jerseys and whatever. And I don't remember exactly what point it was, but it must have been getting pretty close to like the end of the football season, where like chatting like, man, I kind of miss like going around and like meeting up with people and like going to different spots. Like it's getting kind of like boring and lame.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, do you think Rogers would take us back? I'm like, I don't know. We could ask.
Yeah.
And they did. They said they were very happy that we reached back out to them.
Yeah. I was,
and they gave us our primetime spot back.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Because like we have like when we first got on Rogers, Shane's like, yeah, they're gonna give us like one nighttime spot and they'll rerun our show like 4 times, so like 5 episodes in 1 week.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm thinking like 11:30 p.m. like late night show and like 2 a.m. infomercial time is what I'm thinking. We got like 6:30 p.m.
Wow.
noon hour on weekends.
We're
and
coming
then-
up right after Baby Blue 2 hour. Kind
Yeah.
of thing.
And then they were giving us like anytime the Knights game ended, they put us on.
Yeah, that's cool.
So like shit, we're getting like prime time spots. People must be watching.
Mm-hmm.
So and like
Yeah, right? Like that's
Yeah.
and then like we up and quit, and I was like, yeah, we ain't getting those spots back. Like not a
Yeah.
chance. And they took us back with open arms and gave us all of our slots back.
Mm-hmm.
And like kept all of our episodes up on their website.
Yeah. Because everything's
Yeah.
still there, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I think it was a good thing for us. I think that ultimately, I'd recommend anybody give it a shot that's interested in doing this kind of
definitely.
stuff. So,
So you guys are still at Kellogg's or no?
yeah, we're still doing the Kellogg's thing. Still doing Rogers. So like what we ultimately started to like about Rogers more and more was it's less of a week over week commitment, and now it's like in a month you can just rip out all your episodes.
Yeah.
And then if something happens, you just email them and say, hey, we don't have a new one this week, and they'll ask you if you want to recommend a rerun, or they'll just make a rerun happen.
So if you ever want to get your foot in the door, you could clip this into 4 shows, and we could just say that there are episodes.
Yeah. True. I mean, maybe depending on the.
And then we have a month's worth of shows.
Yeah. I kind of feel like some of the content.
That's what I was gonna say,
might
is
not make
like-
it to Rogers.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe edit out that part where we told the Rogers story, but
F those guys.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it wasn't the guys that we were working with. It was just like there's this one like douchebag producer that like he was literally like it's so cliche. Like he was sitting out in the trailer
Yeah.
talking in our ears.
Well, he
And
was
then-
probably the one guy that's a amateur wrestling fan or something.
Yeah, exactly. So like finally takes like 15 minutes away from like masturbating in his mom's basement to like come and like talk in our ears about wrestling. Like,
Yeah.
come on, buddy.
And you're just like, yeah, no.
It
This
was
thing's
so
not
bad.
even on.
Yeah.
I remember at
I
one point just
can't hear
taking the
you.
piece out of my ear.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I'm done listening to you. Like, and like the one guy's like telling us how to do the interview, like cutting us off, and I was like,
Yeah.
we don't cut. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if we fuck up, we fuck
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's raw, right? That's
Yeah.
who we are. No, cut, do it again. Then the wrestlers are cutting. I want to do this all over again.
Yeah. I could
Bitch, you just
see-
talked for 45 seconds
Yeah.
about your fake, already determined wrestling match.
Yeah.
Not, like boys, you guys are all sharing a dressing room. Like you're walking out of like the fucking banquet hall.
Yeah.
You guys are like, calm down, fucking prima donna.
And then we had one guy who literally, like, he was like, funny as hell. He was like, we're interviewing people, but like, he'd be walking like where your bar is, like just watching and lingering, like peeking his head in the window. We're like, because we weren't interviewing him.
Yeah. But
And
he's
like,
kinda
he literally felt that his character deserved an interview.
yeah. I
Yeah,
could
like, it was
see.
weird, man.
Yeah.
Who's the like most interesting, or who's your favorite guest you've ever talked to?
Good question.
It doesn't even, like, for whatever reason. I mean, it could be.
Yeah. Like from a Rogers perspective, like I thought that like learning about like the bodybuilding stuff was pretty interesting, and like I wouldn't have guessed any of the stuff. Like we ended up sitting down with two people, like the owner there, and then one of the like competitors, and like I think we had like 3 episodes with like, the one girl alone, because like there was just so much like content and so much stuff like rolling out of it. So I think that one was pretty interesting.
For me, it was definitely the Boomers one when they reopened the gym.
Yeah,
Like
that was
Matt,
cool too.
With like, do you know Matt Boom?
No, I don't, but I
So-
know like of them obviously.
So obviously, like they were telling it was him and 2 of like the original, like from the original Boomers fighters who have now like came and became coaches and owners of this one, and like telling the story about Matt's dad and like why Boomers started and how like he would like drive around in a minivan, like seeing kids on the street fighting. No, you're coming to the gym. You're not fighting the streets no more. And kind of like paying homage to his dad's. Like that was one of the, again, almost getting a history lesson.
Yeah.
So that was probably one of my favorite episodes as far as Rogers goes. And then like on our show, like probably my favorite guest would be Lane from Jackson State. One of the nicest kids you'll ever meet.
yeah,
Kid from Mississippi coming on a podcast with a bunch of guys from
That's
Northern
pretty
Ontario.
sick.
And he ended up coming on like 3 or 4 times with us. And I said like now I've had a football relationship with him, but just seeing like how genuinely, wow, I can't talk, happy he was that like just someone recognized him.
yeah.
And honestly, it was because like I would just spend hours DMing football players, and whoever wanted to talk, we give the opportunity to.
That's cool. Yeah.
That's
I got a question just from more of like a behind the scenes production standpoint. When you like, because like even when we did ours, like if you did a full show, or say like if you did an hour-long conversation, wanted to like make that 3 shows, would you have? How would you like logistically do that? Would you have to like consciously reintroduce something, or like, yeah, you have
So
to like
we would,
know
like,
you're
Film
going.
it separately though.
So we would film it like kind of like we did when we did your show.
Yeah.
With the introduction,
And then it would
close
be
it
like,
out.
this is part 2 of it type of
Yeah,
thing.
we always just announce.
So you
it's
would
part
have
2.
to like, if it's for this conversation that's been, however long, you wouldn't, it would be tough too because you don't have that start and end point
Finish.
per episode.
Like it might be like it's doable, but you'd have to go and look for that end point.
Like,
And, like, you
find
wouldn't be
like an
able to time
ending
it, right?
conversation almost.
Yeah.
Cut it.
Something that seemed
Then
natural.
like clip in your outro, clip in your
Right,
intro.
right, yeah.
And like the intro would be easy, be like, hey, part 2 of whatever.
Yeah.
You just let it go from
Yeah.
wherever we stopped. The outro to like like that was the first part of whatever. Clip
Yeah,
out that
yeah,
outro and just edited it afterwards.
But it is definitely more organic if you want to have a couple shows out of it to consciously every, say, 25 minutes do an intro and an outro, and then
Yeah.
No different than we did with your episodes,
Yeah.
right? Like we cut it and then we kind of said like, the first X amount of time we're going to do this. Second amount we're going to talk about this. And we don't going back to our first conversation. We
Yeah,
finished
yeah,
it
yeah.
anyways,
Yeah.
right?
yeah. And then
that's it. It's just
And
like
it almost like, to me, it leads the people in who watched the first episode, like,
to want to
see
keep
part
going,
2.
yeah.
yeah.
Is there anywhere after the fact, or I guess, again, I'm kind of applying this to our situation. Did you ever like upload those all together on one platform, like on your YouTube? Is there a one big video that has like 3 intros and outros of it?
I don't think so.
No.
Everything's always been cut and
Yeah.
clipped. So,
Yeah.
to be honest, I haven't been on our YouTube and I don't know how long.
Yeah.
Liam does all of that. And outside of our live shows, like our Roger shows, we don't ever put on there. We were doing it for a while. But like it just became much more of a hassle to get it on there.
Yeah.
If you have the
So-
time to do it, I would do it. Like because you can't share Roger shows on social media.
Yeah, so I think what would be a good, like if you had someone on, basically, because I wouldn't want to, I'm maybe getting ahead of myself here, but I wouldn't want to not be able to post 2-hour long conversations on
Yeah.
say YouTube or whatever, but you'd have to have like set, like if you did 2 a week, one person was a Rogers, and you either whether you got a couple episodes of it or not,
Right.
the other was just this, and it had nothing to do. Is that
I think that's a good idea. Like if you were gonna do that, I would say like do your Rogers show first, and then say like this is like now we're cutting off for Rogers, and then you just keep doing your thing, and then like the people that are watching you still, and like
and you just have that second, but you still couldn't post that first
So-
25 minutes on YouTube,
so
right?
you could post it, you just can't post it from Rogers, right?
Yeah,
So like
or you have to post it after the Rogers release.
Like, if you-
That's the big part.
yeah, like
Oh, so Rogers has to release it first, and then we can air our full episode after the fact.
Yeah. So like Pat McAfee does with ESPN, but he does it live. He runs a 2-hour show on ESPN from 12 to 2.
Mm-hmm.
But literally during his show, they have a countdown where he says goodbye to ESPN,
Mm-hmm.
and they just keep on rolling
Yeah.
into YouTube because that part's live. So he's doing his live show on YouTube, but the first 2 hours is on ESPN. So like how I'm talking right now, you like chat to me just 1 second, and Pat McAfee's like, "Hey, thank you for watching ESPN. We're going to keep on rolling now live on YouTube," and it cuts it off on ESPN, and then their conversation just keeps going.
Yeah,
Continues
yeah.
on YouTube. Huh?
Yeah, I guess it would just be trial and error. Because I guess it depends on what.
Obviously, ESPN and Rogers local TV has much different budgets, but
yeah, different juice.
Yeah, but yeah, it would definitely. I could
Because
see
you guys do the Rogers, and then you do a complete different show with Kellogg's, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So it's completely.
So we
two
cut it
different-
off, and like
yeah.
the one's like edited and a bit more professional, and the second one's like no hold barred.
But the no holds bar one is uploaded separately.
Instantly. Yeah,
Yeah,
live,
separately
straight
then.
live and go.
So do you? As soon as you're done, that's when you go live.
Usually we take a piss break, but then
But the Rogers
Exactly,
part of
yeah.
it is not live.
no.
Right. Okay.
So like what we were doing was in the football season, we'd shoot the Rogers episode before we started drinking,
Mm-hmm.
and we literally would like bang out a half-hour show in Shane's basement.
And then you'd be like, okay, live. That was a good show we just did. Blah 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 blah. Or maybe not even
We
refer to
wouldn't
it
even
at all.
talk about it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we would just roll into what we were going to talk about for.
It's like really like where we were at, like it's almost like two different fan bases you're
Yeah.
talking to. Like we ended up with like some like catfish from like Oklahoma and like some other like random shit around. Like there was a lot of people like when I say cat, can we tell the story? We can tell the
Yeah, you
story.
tell the story, yeah.
Okay, good. Because so we have no idea the truth, by the way. So like this is all of our speculation. But like there was this lady from Norman,
that we
Oklahoma.
think was a lady.
Okay.
Yeah.
That presented as a lady.
Yeah.
Presented as a lady.
Yeah, like a 60, 70-year-old lady started watching our show, would always post in the comments, be like, the bar down here and like Norman loves you guys, like Buffalo Wild Wings, we're watching it, and like
She was saying they were showing it on like the
on
TV.
the TV.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
at the
From
restaurant.
YouTube.
from YouTube or
yeah,
Facebook,
whatever
or
they were
wherever.
watching, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So like
A
we're
live
like,
show.
Yeah. Okay.
so we're just like chatting, like whatever. Like she would disappear for a bit, and then she'd come back,
Mhm.
disappear for a bit, come back. And finally, I don't know if it was Chad or Liam or somebody was like, send us a picture, we want to post it. And then like the picture came, but it was a picture that was like a Google image of like Buffalo Wild Wing or some shit like that. So like I didn't think anything of it because I wasn't fucking paying attention. Liam's just like he's like, don't engage anymore. We're like, okay, well, whatever. So basically, like, this lady had invited us down there to like go hang out and go to like a Oklahoma Sooners.
You guys
game.
want to come down?
Yeah.
I'll like put you guys up. I'll get you guys tickets. You just got to get to Oklahoma. Like that was it. And we're like whatever. Like the four of us go down. Like why not? Right?
Sooners games.
Yeah. We're like really
Yeah.
knowing nothing of it. Like some 60-year-old lady. It might have been a 20-year-old guy who was gonna murder us in his basement at this
Yeah,
point.
we were
now.
about to become a lampshade in someone's fucking face. And so finally,
I haven't seen this lady
Yeah.
since.
So did you guys go?
No.
So
No,
how
fuck
did
it.
you end it? Like
We just
how did
I think someone called her out, right? Did Liam call her out or did you call her out?
I don't remember.
or them out, whatever the fuck they are. I don't know.
I think we just said like we don't think Buffalo Wild Wings exists or something stupid like that, making a joke about it. And this person has never commented on our show again, never watched our show again, nothing.
Crazy.
Watch like
That's a wild
a couple
story.
of months from now, we got this like
Now the
weird
lady,
like.
Yeah, if you guys get the Kelly catfish, then
That's funny.
yeah,
I really want to do. We definitely. I gotta. I mean, that's no excuse. I can figure it out, but I gotta get either myself or Liam to help me. Just like
step by
figure
step
out-
instructions, man.
figure out the.
yeah,
Like it makes it a lot more fun because comments do come in. And like
Yeah.
some weeks, no comments
Yeah,
come in,
yeah.
right? But it gives you conversation to talk about because like we could be sitting here talking about whatever. We'll talk about the Buccaneers game or whatever, and this guy's like, "Hey, what about this?" You're like,
Yeah.
shit, completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
Let's go touch on that, and then like all of a sudden now I have like 80 comments coming in.
Yeah. It also gives you something different to focus on other than just Rogers like
Yeah.
interview style stuff too. I'm sure, right? Like.
and that's
Yeah,
it.
like, it would pop in and be like, people are like, "Hey Chad, hey Shane, this like whatever." Then we get like, "Hey Connor said hi, what's up?"
Yeah.
And then it gives them their gratification, like you see them saying hi.
Yeah.
And then we would like obviously talk back in the comments too as well to them.
Mm-hmm.
So like Liam would speak as going for two.
Mm-hmm.
Then we all had our personal like Facebook up, so we would keep the comments going and talking to people in there as we're doing our live show.
And that's it. And like, if you're going on one service, like if you don't want to go on multiple services, it's as easy as just going on your phone and just hitting like
Live.
Facebook Live.
Yeah.
I think it limits you a little bit to like what you can do, but the Streamlabs thing, I can't imagine
It's not. It's one of those things. Like, it's not. It's got to sit down and like, we tried to do it. Not. We tried to do it too last minute, and it's like rushed, and then it's So me and you just got to sit down one day and like figure out if we can do
Make
it.
a
And-
1,000 mistakes.
yeah,
then
and
just
we
roll
have
it,
like
right?
the other TV on there, so we could put it up there and still have like everything going and be able to read it real time and yeah.
Yeah, 'cause you could literally like have this guy going, but then you're watching yourselves live on
Yeah.
there, right? And
Yeah.
then you're laughing,
Yeah, for sure.
and then just talk about who knows what and
Whatever.
whatever. and-
Whatever comes up, yeah.
That's the cool part about it, right? Because it will spark conversations that
Yeah.
people will comment, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden the whole conversation breaks out, and it's a free for all.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's been like cool that way, and like I said, I think the Super Bowl shows were my funnest memories though,
Yeah.
because like those were just clusterfucks.
Yeah.
Like 3 hour shows, especially the one we did for like virtually, I guess. Like we're all in our own houses, and I think we had like 10 guests coming in and out. And I imagine Liam hated us because he had to coordinate everybody getting into the chat.
You
Yeah.
had to make like a virtual green room, to, like,
Waiting room.
Yeah.
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 Where would you do those?
That was we all were from our own house that year.
Yeah, but
The year
normally-
before that, we did it at Shane's house. We did.
Yeah.
We did a
Sit in my bar.
in a Sitting bar in a 3 hour show.
Damn.
And
I
just,
mean, we
like,
have we
have
have
the
the
space
outlet
then,
for
yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
like, there's so many, it'd be cool to have people waiting here,
Yeah.
and just like coming in
Yeah,
and
people-
whatever,
our-
man. You
people
just,
just
free
sitting
ball.
at a
our
bar.
first one we did was in the basement. That's what we had. Like people would just sit off to the side. Like the way his basement was set up is like the bar. Like we're here, cameras there, but like they'd all be on that side of it,
Yeah.
and we just called them all over one by one.
And just had random conversation with them.
Yeah.
Okay, next person.
Yeah, next
in
guy
and
in.
stuff.
Give them all either 10, 15 minutes and
Yeah.
go from there. And
Cool.
like those shows are really, really fun. And like I said, like making the mistakes and laughing about
Yeah.
it later is what makes it all hilarious. And getting to do it with your buddies.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You get enough like fond memories of those kind of things, but like if you ever feel, and you guys are already doing it, but if you ever feel like you're like struggling, like a guest will
Yeah.
take you to the next level, like because you're igniting both of the people asking, or like it's really how Kaylin joined our show.
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew Kaylin and I went to high school together. We were like roommates in college, but when we were first, like our original football season, we were bringing in like random fans of like different teams. And I said to Chad, and like, I don't know, you didn't really know Caleb.
I
right?
knew Caleb
like a
just-
little bit.
It's like I worked the front door at Jim Bob's.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bar star.
He was a bar star back in the day. So like, I knew him as a guy that just came to the bar every night. That was it. So I was like, but always a nice guy to me. Like I definitely had beers with him before.
Yeah.
So I was bring him in, whatever. We talked, and our one rule was you're allowed to come on the show, but you have to share it on social media.
Mm-hmm.
That was our one thing.
Yeah.
Because at that point we weren't going live, so we would tell you when it was going to go live, and we just asked you to share it.
Yeah.
That was it.
That's like honestly the same thing here. Like when I first started, really right around that COVID time, it was like I'd have different people coming up here and having these conversations with them, and then it was a little too like stale in terms of like it'd be me and you talking about this, and then like it's whatever. You can't like it's hard to keep a conversation going, even if you're great, both great at having conversations.
Sure.
And then so I stopped, and then it was like, just come on with me. My thought was like, even if we don't have a guest, then me and you can, and we still have yet to have one where it's just me and you, and having that like three-way conversation, just because me and him talk well together already and everything.
Right.
It's natural, and you just get different perspectives. And
because even if it's like last minute, we'll always like there's always someone. Even when we had like Kyle on, right? You're like, hey, somebody canceled last minute. Does anyone want to come on? And we just post it on a story.
like if you guys had something come up, we'd literally go downstairs and be like, who's here? And so far every time it's like, yeah, I'm down. And it's like, hey, whenever you're done your workout, come on up and talk about like organic and everything. Some of those had turned out to be the best ones that there is. And it's fun that way, but
because it's not even scripted. That's the cool part. We just literally press the button and how was your day today, right? And
but that's what we need to. That's what we need to like slowly introduce is some sort of like not scripted by any means, but
scripted. Like the best thing
just
we
a
ever
structure.
did was like we were like 10 minutes of this, 5 minutes of this, and after that we were like, fuck that. What are 4 good points today?
Yeah.
Because we already know that point 1's going to lead to 1, B, C, and D before we get to 2.
Right.
So let's just go with 4 ideas. And if we get there, we get there. If we don't, we don't. But where are we starting?
Yeah.
And then just kind of go from there and let it roll from there, because every topic is going to lead into 2 or 3 side topics.
Yeah. And you don't want to shut anything down. Like, especially if everyone's genuinely interested in it. It's not like you want to like,
that's it.
Okay, I know, cool, but let's go back to that it's
that's it. And like if you're looking to get like organic stuff, like the number one like intro that's organic is just like, hey, welcome back to this is joining us today, and then you just jump right in.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we used to think like you had to have a 2-minute intro, and like our 2-minute intros would be like stretched out and like dragged out. You just introduce and then move on. Like act like everybody knows who you are and nobody knows who the other person is.
Right. And that's what we need to do, right? We had so many cool people on here, and we just started a conversation without even introducing the person.
I didn't even know we started today.
Yeah, I know.
The only reason why I knew that is because when I came on for Football Canada, we were talking for like 20 minutes, and I was like, I don't even think we fucking started yet.
Yeah. And I don't want to like lose that too. You know what I mean? That's where like I appreciate having different maybe podcasts where it is like that. I'm not saying I'm against not doing that, but there's a genuine like comfortableness that just instantly happens when people don't know, or like, especially up here, because people do feel comfortable and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't, like I said, it's not that I have anything against, and I definitely appreciate like, just something more structured, and that's where I think both have its place.
For sure.
We would
But
just get hot mic'd all the time if we'd have a proper intro.
yeah.
we need the countdown or something. Some best guy.
Yeah.
Like, we'll be talking something.
That's happened too, but
And Liam's just like, you motherfuckers.
that's definitely
Like-
happened where it's like, but then it's like there's no difference in cutting it 5 minutes because it's still such a random start as the first like
we always
random
make the
button.
joke that he has like a blackmail tape that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna ransom us for like hundreds of thousands of dollars one day and be like, I will release this. And then, like just doing random shit, like finding out like live there's certain words you can't say.
Right.
You be in this conversation.
Yeah.
Can't say cuck.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
Learn the hard way.
Protect
I
a
guess.
class. Protect a class.
I'll be on top of like everything. Do you guys have one thing that's like? I'm sure it's such an answer that we've already talked about so much, but like, to a piece of advice then to us, like,
honestly, like, it's so cliche. Have as much fun as
Yeah.
you fucking can.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking, we're being buddies. Like, honestly, I think you and I have become friends now because we've talked
Absolutely.
so much
Yeah,
in
for
the last
sure.
few months. And I enjoy coming up here. Like, I would come up here again, like, anytime.
Yeah.
And the big thing is, one of the things Shane and I talked about was, at one point, I said, I'm like, I don't even feel like we're friends anymore. We're just co-hosts.
Yeah.
Like, we lost our fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like we had to take a step back and be like, get rid of the structure. Like,
Yeah.
let's go back to having beers, talking shit, and stop trying to be NFL insiders.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just be bros talking football
Yeah.
Right.
and have as
that's
much
good.
fun as possible.
Cool. Well, when we're on something, maybe one day you guys will have to humor us and
Well, and do that. We would definitely do that. But piece of advice for me would be don't do a show on a day that you're not into it.
yeah, okay.
Because like you're gonna make it seem like you're forcing yourself to do it. And like we've been there, we did it. And like you stick to a structure. But like the nice thing about like if you do something that's on a certain platform, you can make so many in advance that like you shouldn't really be doing it a week in advance. But like the other thing for what you guys are doing, just go live when you feel like it.
Yeah.
Like don't feel obligated.
force
That
it.
is good because there has been days, and like I think we do good at that too. Like at like some days, like I think it's just like anything. It's just like going for a workout. Like some days you don't want. There's a difference between like it not being the right day and having that like, okay, let's like get going. But there's days where it's like it's just not meant to be today, and
It's
like
Right.
don't force it to
like-
to produce something that's not organic.
Especially like when you're recording too,
Mm-hmm.
like video wise.
Yeah.
Because there's been episodes where I've had people actually message me, be like,
You
"Bro,
okay?
are you good?"
Yeah.
I was like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "You did not look like you cared one bit at all."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Shit." Okay.
That's honestly, I appreciate that because there are days where you're just
Right.
like, you had a long ass day. It's like you're just, or whatever, something else is on your mind. You're like, I just really don't want to do this today, and
And then
it's okay to not
Right.
do
And
it
then
those
just
days.
don't,
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
Right.
It's not a matter of being lazy. It's not a matter of like anything else. It's
Yeah,
just
it's just normal. I mean, people have bad days, people have good days, and
It's-
why would you go
yeah.
on something and
It's the
do it?
opposite of the gym. Like they tell you, like, and you guys are, both well built guys. Like your worst workout is better than no workout.
Yeah.
But like your worst show isn't a good show. Like,
Yeah,
just
right,
don't
yeah.
fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's
your
true.
worst show could actually make someone never watch
Yeah.
again.
yeah,
Right.
That's actually
So
That's
I
a
didn't
good
think about it
point,
until he
yeah.
said that.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
no, I've had people reach out to me and be like, "Bro, you good?"
yeah.
that's a good advice. Yeah.
Like that one when that one girl was talking about football Canada, I should have walked away.
oh,
Yeah, I'm sitting here with like McCartney, and our struggles of trying to get money in football Canada, trying to back us for the men's team. And this girl comes on. They gave us this. They gave us this. They did this.
and you're just
And
like,
I'm sitting there like going red. And they're like, "Yo, are you good?" I'm like, "Yo, fuck football Canada." Like, said it right away. I was like, they ain't giving us. I called them out on our show. I was like, they didn't give us any of this. They said the wrong on their own. I'm like, but yet they'll give you everything that you want because you're a woman. I was like, I probably shouldn't have said that, but I was pissed off. I should have walked off the stage.
that was my last question actually is like, other than the wrestling, and maybe like that's a valid answer to this question, is like, have you ever guys got like heated or like genuine, like,
Oh yeah,
has anyone walked off on anything, or like genuine, like a heated argument?
guys-
Like,
me and
you guys
Kaylin
bounced
me
on,
and
like,
Kaylin have
Rogers.
definitely gone into it a couple
Yeah.
times. Like me and our other host have.
yeah,
Um,
in like a way that
But
makes
no
good
guests?
content.
not with a. I think we definitely have crossed the line in
Yeah.
the content part.
Jack gets mean at times.
Like
so,
I get ruthless. Like
Yeah, it's not good content.
no, it's not. Like,
But it's not like a guess where you're like, ooh, that's awkward now. Like,
Yeah.
no, I
this
got to
guy's
finish
like-
a show with this person.
Yeah.
which is even more awkward.
Yeah.
Like I had to yell at a co-host.
Mm.
Because like I only have like one switch, and like I'm good until I'm not.
Yeah.
So I've had that a couple times, but never with a guest.
Yeah.
Other than that one,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah,
should've
that was
walked
like,
away.
that was
like,
exactly what it was.
she did nothing wrong.
Just wrong place, wrong
Yeah,
time.
exactly right. And
We
like,
talked a lot of shit to those wrestling guys.
yeah,
I could see how that would be
Yeah.
like,
like I'm actually shocked that like that actually didn't turn out a lot worse. But
yeah,
it
but
wasn't
dude,
our
those guys
show.
probably get that everywhere they go.
Yeah, like dollar store
I
sunglasses.
think they thought that. I think they thought we were just being in character.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
like,
this is part of the show.
Like, because there's always a heel and a baby face, and like, but we just wanted to be the heel the whole time.
yeah.
I could tell you a show that Chad did leave, and like he probably doesn't even remember, but like this was still virtual days, and yeah, can't use the name, but we had military grade
Dummies.
edibles,
Yeah.
and you know, Chad thought that they were.
I think you told me
Yeah,
about
so,
that.
yeah. So literally, I'm in like
You were touching something.
It's
or
our
like,
producer's dad. Gave Liam these gummies, so he gave them to us. And I don't do edibles. I barely smoke. I do it strictly to go to bed if I'm going to do it.
yeah.
yeah,
So like, I have buddies that work at like One Tree or One Plant, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And always like, hey man, like, what do I need? And they give me like the biggest low dose
Yeah.
shit. So in my head, I was like, excuse me, I eat a pack of the Fuzzy Peaches and I have a great night's sleep. No issue the next day. And so Liam gave me these gummies. They're just chilling in my freezer. I'm like, fuck it. Let's have
I usually
fun
cut
today.
them into tens.
Yeah.
So like, I eat one, of course, like not knowing how strong they are. I had 3 in the freezer, so I just ate all 3. My brain was like, well, you have 5, 3, like, I know they're strong.
Yeah,
but like, I
I'm
know
good at
they're.
math. I'm good at math.
Not reading the package.
No, there
though.
was no
Like,
package. They were in a Ziploc.
Oh, even worse.
And I was
Ziploc
just
bag.
like, I know they're stronger, but like, how much stronger than 3B to 5?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you. So anyways, before we get on, like, we always open up our video call 15, 20 minutes before we were going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I hop on, and it's just me and Liam. I was like, yo, how strong are these gummies? He's like, why, what's up? And I was like, I had one. He's like, oh, you're going to be fucked up. And I was like, oh, shit, I had like 3. But I didn't tell him I had 3 yet. So, like, the show was happening, and this is the part that I remember that I don't remember after that. Like, to me, it felt like we were on air for like an hour.
It had been 7 minutes.
And like, I'm watching the screen, and like, I can like feel myself start smiling. And like, these guys are talking. I did not have closed captioning on my computer, but I felt like I could see words leaving my screen. So eventually I was like, I can't fucking do this. So like, I'm trying to hit the button, but like, to me, it was like, I was just like this. But I rewatched it, I was like, slowly reaching it.
That's
And I literally just hit the button, closed off my like computer. Like, I can't do
Went
this.
to bed.
Yeah.
I
was
rewatched
like,
the
oh,
video and I was
Chad
like,
must be having technical difficulties.
Oh, that's hilarious.
yeah, I found out they were 35 milligrams. I used to eating 25, so I had
100
30
milligrams
Yeah, 100
or
milligrams. Yeah, I was in a
Wow.
great place.
Oh, that's wild.
I woke up the next day really fucked up still.
Yeah, for sure.
Just a useless bag of dicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, you
That's
got anything
awesome.
else? You guys got anything that?
Favorite football teams, real quick.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah.
Baltimore and San Francisco.
How do you have 2? I don't understand this.
I know.
I don't know.
I
How do you
know.
have
It's-
2 favorite
it's hard. It's growing up, I was a 49ers fan, and then Lamar came into the league, and I was like, man, this guy's special. And it's just like,
Like, you can like have a favorite team that have a soft spot for a team.
sure.
So like, to
So
me,
favorite-
like, my favorite team's Tampa Bay. So
Soft
like, I
spot.
grew up like a 49ers. My dad was a diehard 49ers fan. It's like, I always want them like to do well, but I don't want
Yeah.
like, if Tampa's out, like I'll cheer for San Francisco because of that. Like,
Yeah, who do you cheer for when they play in the Super Bowl?
they played each other in the Super Bowl back in
Ravens.
12.
Okay, so
Ravens.
then you're a Ravens fan.
Yeah. Just because of the defense. When Ray Lewis played. And
You think he murdered that guy?
He did, right?
I
Yeah, he
believe
did,
so,
yeah.
yes.
Do you like allegedly murdered him, or do you think he murdered him?
I think he murdered
You have any
him.
thoughts on Justin Tucker?
We can just like take out this. Be our show now.
I mean, you're more than
Now-
welcome
now-
to.
now-
I
gonna
honestly,
ask the
believe,
question.
I honestly believe that Ray Lewis committed murder, and I think he's walked away with it without blinking an eye.
Justin Tucker can't even get a fucking hand job in the massage parlor. without getting cut. What a world we live in, eh?
It's crazy,
What a world.
man. And this guy
Murder's
just walks
okay,
away with
though.
murder,
Yeah.
man. It's wild, man. Fuck. Ray Lewis, man. Beast.
2025, man.
Yeah.
2025 is just a wild time to be alive.
I know. Ed Reed, man, also one of my favorite players.
Did you ever see the interview with Bart's or Terrell Suggs about Aaron Hernandez?
No.
Have you seen this clip? No. Have you seen this?
No.
So, do you think Aaron
But T
Hernandez
Suggs,
is?
man.
Okay,
I
yeah.
love T Suggs.
So
Beast.
Terrell Suggs was like a thug on the football
Oh, yeah.
field. And he was just like, yeah, like I remember playing New England, and he's like, I hit Aaron Hernandez, and I started talking shit to him. And he's like, well,
I'll
I'm
kill
going to
you.
fuck you up. And Aaron Hernandez like, yo, I'll kill you.
Okay. Yeah.
And he was like, the crazy part is, he's like,
I believed him.
he was an he was an all pro football player. The crazy part is, like, that was his part-time job. He was a full-time killer.
Yeah.
No kidding.
He's like,
Fuck,
this
man.
guy he was killing people to hide the murder that he killed somebody.
Yeah. Well,
And he's like, he killed
That's
someone
a
who went
crazy
to the Pro
story
Bowl.
too, man.
and because like he's a gay, right? Like he was gay.
He was
and,
gay.
Like,
Aaron
yeah, and like, then
Hernandez
he was like
gay.
trying to hide it, and like he
Yeah.
was killing people that
Yeah.
knew. Yeah.
So yeah, he was
Wow,
killing people
crazy,
like,
man.
so that his original murder, so he didn't get caught being gay, was coming out.
Yeah.
And yeah, but he talks about like, Terrell Suggs is like, I didn't know he would have actually killed me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he probably would have.
And that came out like 3 weeks ago, that interview.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't see a lot of that stuff, but yeah.
It popped up, I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, that's funny.
Man, the Steelers just got rid of Pickens, wide receiver, didn't they?
They did, yeah. And
Why?
there's locker room issues there. Locker room issues.
See, like I'm totally out of the loop on
Yeah.
any of it.
That's
What
how
do
I
you-
feel
what-
with hockey, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like I don't even know hockey. I'll watch it and like go whatever.
What do you
But
want to talk about? Ian Diddy or like,
Allegedly did he, or we lube it up?
no, that's not my cup of tea
Yeah.
either. But
It wasn't a lot of those guys' cup of tea either. But they
they have a
they had to
choice.
surrender. Honestly,
Yeah,
like,
that's all wild. Too,
I have this hard
obviously.
time taking Meek Mill serious now. Like, he acts like he's the hardest guy in the room, and his songs like, bro.
from what I hear, he
Yeah.
might have been the hardest guy.
Oh, fuck.
College
Like,
ball?
one,
You
like
guys
the
watch
one
any
song,
college
like they're
ball?
playing the gym, and it's like,
Yeah.
the one like we
Michigan
don't
fan?
fuck the same
Michigan
hoes.
State.
And I was like, I can't
Well,
take that line serious
LSU
now,
fan.
man.
MSU?
LSU.
LSU. Okay.
LSU, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
hands down for me.
great recruiters, bad at the regular season.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Best
But
wide receivers in the league, though.
they got one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft this year.
Yeah. And it's just a powerhouse, man.
Yeah. I'm about it.
Me too.
Okay, well now you got to tell us some of those other stories that we can't say on here.
Oh, you already hit the red button.
No, I didn't yet.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
It's your show. You take the lead here.
No, yeah, we don't know what to do, right? We usually just
I don't know what to do with my
You
hands.
guys could have left 20 minutes ago. That's usually how it goes with.
Yeah.
Oh,
But no, thanks.
yeah.
Yeah.
thanks for
No, we
coming.
appreciate
Thanks for the
taking
tips.
the time.
Yeah.
Hopefully, there's more something in the future. Not, with whatever it is, even if it's just like we got to come to Clubhouse and just be spectators and.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like I said, honestly, just have fun with what you guys are doing, and I don't think that we should ever be like the poster child of like the route to follow. But honestly, be too dumb to quit. That's the only advice I'll tell everybody that tries doing this, and just don't listen to anybody else, and don't pay attention to who's watching and who's not.
Yeah.
Because the best content you're ever going to make is when no one's watching.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you.
Yeah, man.
No problem, guys.
Until next time. Thanks for listening. See ya.